Even though it's kind of fun to play around with, I was never really, I'm never really like happy and I want to record what I did. I always struggle a lot when I'm playing my synth. It's like I always find like nice little things to do, but there's nothing that really triggers me to, yeah, this is the piece. I want to record this and drop it on the loop. Even though I like to play the keys, I really love is the sound design. I love to create little sounds, little patches. And this goes for the Rhodes as well. Like I'm playing things, but I'm like, it's really not where I want it to be. It doesn't really sound, I guess I'm just not that good when it comes to playing keys. But when I am detached from that, when I just want to, have a session of me just recording something on the sequencer. I just want to sound design it. And I'm not thinking about making a beat on the MPC or anything. So when I'm purely just in these sessions, which I do a lot of nowadays, especially nowadays, once I started getting into this sort of workflow, I'm just in the synth. I'm not thinking about making beats. I'm just purely just designing things. So when I'm in these sessions, I tend to do a lot more stuff that's interesting to me. What I noticed is that I always had a lot more fun, and I would always find a lot of beautiful patterns when I was not trying to do it over the beat. So when I have a drum loop and I try to layer something over it, I can always find something that works, but never really something that excites me. As opposed to when I'm just sound designing, when I'm just putting in these sound design hours that I do, where I just sit in front of this and I just, use the step sequencer here, or I use the step sequencer from the Octatrack, and I just design sequences, I design ideas, whether it's just weird sounds or beautiful patches, and I record all these things into my MPC, into folders, and I chop everything. So I just noticed that I always create a lot of magical stuff. It's really beautiful. So then I started noticing, why don't I just record this and do it as I've always done with samples. I just chop everything and leave it on folders so I can then go back to it. That's really where I feel like I can really get the most out of the synth sound. Than trying to do something on the spot. And again, that might be because the lack of skills when I get to being a keyboard player. So after I do a lot of this work, I already have now a lot of synth sounds, like these effect sounds that I love using. Right? I mean, it's... All these sounds are now ready to go, and I have tons of folders like this. Like this beat, I started from one of these Rhodes cuts that I do, which is right there ready to go. And I think it's actually right, that cut right there. And then I just 16 level that. It's pretty easy, and that is basically the beat. And then I just went into my folders and I just took that from one of these record sessions and put that on top. So everything here is ready to go. I didn't stop to listen to records. I didn't stop to play the Rhodes. I didn't stop to do any of these sounds. They are all inside of these folders that I take from these long sessions that I have. Right? So if we go there, you see that that's the whole session right there. And I just have folders like this filled with ideas. This is actually the original idea of this. And this is a folder that I love to call ideas. So I do a lot of different things here with the Rhodes. I always got my Rhodes, but on the Moogs, on my synth side, I always have chords, then I have ideas, then I have effects. I have all these different folders, Moog ideas, Moog cuts. I really dig this ideas folder, which are just sessions of me creating sequences out of the Moog. Yeah, man, I'm just not that great keyboard player. And having these sessions where I separate myself from the beat really changed the way that I interact with my synths. It's just something that I've always done. I think I'm just tapped into this idea of finding chops and putting them on sequences. And once I realized I didn't have to play with my synth to find patterns while I'm playing, I could just have sessions, long sessions, record them, and then later on jump to these old sessions and find snippets, find little bits in there that I could layer on my beat. It's just, you know, it just makes all the sense to me to do it that way, because that's just how my brain functions when I get to making beats. It's all about small little chops. And I love the sound of a synth. I want to incorporate that, but what I'm trying to find something while playing and while turning knobs, to me is draining. I can't really do it that way. Sometimes it works, but it's never really fulfilling. I'd rather just sit on the front of my Rhodes, in front of my synth, and just, you know, have long sessions of and sound design these warm Rhodes samples or these synth sounds. Just sound design it, you know, just kind of get lost in the sound without worrying about is it working on top of the beat. Things that I just did on the beat right there, I could have never done it if I was trying it in real time. I just couldn't do it. The other thing that I love about these sessions is that I just connect way more to my instrument. And I was always like, I'm gonna sit and make a beat. And it was always very robotic in a way, put the drums, put the samples, layer, and get it done. These long sessions, it just brings me, it gives me such a pleasure just to sit without thinking about making beats. And I connect to my instrument. I get to know my instrument a lot more. I get to play and find chords and find ideas that I never would have if I was just playing and purposely trying to make music, you know? I think that's something that musicians, when you compare musicians, you know, instrumentalists to sample-based artists, that's really a huge gap between us. I think when we're making beats, we just want to get the beat done. And instrumentalists, people that play instruments, they just play their instrument for nothing. They just want to have fun. And that's something that I never experienced because I was always just chopping to make beats. Yeah, man, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I have a link for a pack that just came out with a lot of synth sounds, stuff that you heard, effects, a bunch of stuff in the pack, so you can go and download it. That's from last year, actually. Everything that I shared last year on Patreon. That was it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it takes something out of it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace. Bye-bye.